welcome back to ANC Studios with your host, ANC. And today we are here with a lovely new episode of Bed Builders. Yes, I know, it has been a while. So just to go over a few things before I do start the episode. Yes, hi, I am back. I'm trying to be back at least. So currently I'm recording this on Monday. It's supposed to go up on Wednesday. Hopefully it does get up. If not, whoopsie, it'll be up Friday. But you'll still get 2 videos this week either way. And then from there, so I do like talking about, I will be talking about a lot more Reddit stuff on here, just because Reddit's just an easy source just to get stuff from. And I guess I could be talking about Wall Street Bets, which is a big thing that happened within the last 14 days, I think is what it was. Basically. And then, but it's kind of closer to Valentine's Day, and, you know, you gotta feed corporate America. So that's what we're talking about today. So first I'm talking about the Lego set we are currently building. We are building the Fiat, however you want to pronounce it, 500. It is a Lego set that costs $89.99, from the Lego store. That's where it was bought. And it is a beautiful piece. I certainly love, especially how it turned out. I love it. But yeah, so I hope you enjoy the build and also enjoy the podcast. You're not sponsored by anyone. And I also do want to give a little preference of what it is. So currently, it is 4 p.m. I am eating oatmeal and drinking apple juice. And yes, I have been up since at least 7 a.m. this morning. Don't ask why. But I guess my taste buds are just really just out of whack for the past bit. Because, like, this has been going on for the past few days, where I'm just like, 4 p.m., oatmeal. Don't ask why. Literally, I've had lunch already. I usually don't eat breakfast in the morning, but it's just like, yes, I'm going to eat oatmeal at 4, even though I've already had soup or other things. I'm just mentioning soup because that's what I had today. Yeah, crazy. I don't know, just crazy world. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into it. So we are doing the, r/relationship_advice. And I do just want to go ahead and give a, very nice, hand to the person who wrote this. I'm not exactly sure who it is, but their, subtitle, I guess, or description is, need help with your relationship? Whether it's romance, friendship, family, coworkers, or basic human interaction, we're here to help. And I just think that's a really cute, like, little start to it, and just lovely. So I'm going to be going through a lot of their stuff within the last few months, like, most popular within the last month. Some of them are not the most age appropriate, so if you're under the age of 13, this is not the episode to watch, especially. But, yeah, and I also do want to give a little preference of my relationship as I'm giving out this relationship advice. I am currently single. Yes, I know, right? Shocking. And I've been in a few relationships before, but I'm not exactly going to go into depth with them. I've also read a lot of romance novels because I'm forced to. And, yeah. So, let's get into the first story. So, the first story is husband, 29-year-old male, has been in alcohol recovery for 5 years. Last night, at a friend's party, he opened a beer like it was nothing. I told him I'd leave him okay, there's bad grammar. I told him I'd leave him if ever drank again. Do I keep my word? So just from looking at it, so it looks like this guy, especially, I'm thinking in college, he was a big, like, drinker, because that's what it sounds like, because if you've been in 5 years, it means 24. So I'm assuming that's kind of what happened. Or he just went up. I'm assuming he was drinking before 21. Because, no offense, 3 years seems like a short amount of time for someone to go through that journey of starting drinking and then going and deciding that they want to stop. Or at least that's me and the people I've noticed that especially go through this recovery. So anyway, just to continue on with the story. I love my husband very much, but we went through some crazy stuff while he was drinking. Most of the time, he acted like a very silly drunk who was actually a lot of fun, but there were several occasions where he'd rage, get in fights, and drive drunk. He went into recovery about 5 years ago and has been an amazing man and husband ever since. When I started the recovery process with him, I told him very clearly that I would leave him if he ever touched alcohol again. Last night, we went to a UFC pay-per-view at a friend's house. It was typical guys watch TV, girls in the kitchen talking. The host had set up like a trough with ice and that was full of beer. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw my husband very casually go up to the trough, get a beer, and sit down and start drinking it. It was a flashback to all those awful nights we had spent with his addiction. I know to never get in a discussion with him when he was drinking, even one, but I did watch it for the rest of the night and he didn't have any more. I have to be honest with that in the past, even a single beer would have led to a blackout, so at least in this instance, he controlled himself. I stayed up sleepless all night. I swore to myself I'd leave instantly if he ever drank again. I feel so much shame for even being here, knowing that we went through his drinking. At the same time, do I throw away everything for what appeared to be one absent-minded beer? He has to go to work today, so he's up and out of the house, and I have a chance to talk to him. That conversation I'm dreading. What should I do here? Well, that is a very good question, mystery person. Or, I'm not going to try to pronounce that name. So, in my opinion, just talk and just make sure it was an actual beer, because there's a lot of beer bottles that are just like sodas, and especially if they're friends, that they would know that he's not drinking, or it's also very possible that he just wasn't aware it was beer, or that, there's always just a bunch of things that could have happened and why he was drinking. But let's say it was a beer. Just say, hey, I thought we had an agreement you wouldn't drink anymore, and then see where it goes. But, this happened a little bit over 2 weeks ago, so I'm hoping by now it's been decided. And I'm not really seeing anything. But that also is true. I'm reading in the comments here. If he's casually drinking beer right in front of you, he might be drinking some elsewhere. He doesn't look like someone who had his first drink in 5 years after fighting so hard. So, yeah, that's also very true. Especially if he does just pick up a beer casually like that, he's obviously drinking somewhere else, like with a friend or parties or whatever. But, so it's like, just talk to him, see what happens. If something good happens from it, great. If you guys end up breaking up, oh well, you guys tried. That's all you can really say. So, yeah, that's my opinion. On the next one. So, this next story is, pretty, standard. I, 23-year-old male, have a problem with my girlfriend's 22-year-old female personal hygiene. So my girlfriend has a problem with hygiene. She can go a bit long without showering to where her BO builds up pretty bad. Whenever I try to mention it, she gets really upset and constantly cites the rule, if it can't be fixed in 20 seconds, don't say it. But, does that mean I just can't mention it? Also, she never blows her nose properly. She just takes the nearest blanket or cloth object around her and blows her nose. I personally find it gross, but again, she is very upset when I mention it. How do I bring up these issues without causing her too much upset? So let's go with this step by step. So with the BO and hygiene, I would just, I know a lot of couples, especially, when they're getting ready, they'll, have a conversation, get ready in the bathroom at the same time. Maybe not, taking a shower at the same time, but, they're, getting dressed or whatever at the same time. Especially if they're living together, which I'm assuming they are. I would recommend doing something like being like, hey, or if they're, if you guys getting ready, hand the deodorant and be like, here's this, and stuff like that. Just kind of, hint at, not really hint, but, be like, hey, here's your deodorant, or, maybe put it, where you can only reach it, and be like, hey, here's this, and then slowly move it down where they can reach it. So then you have that. I don't exactly how to help with the nose issue. I would maybe try buying some Kleenex and make sure there's Kleenex around, at least maybe one in every other room, or one in every room that she frequents a lot, like one in the living room / kitchen area, and then one in the bedroom or something like that. So then she doesn't have an excuse, because the rule of if it can't be fixed in 20 seconds, don't say it. But both of those issues can be fixed in 20 seconds. I mean, maybe the BO, maybe not that much, because showers don't really take exactly 20 seconds. But I mean, putting on some deodorant, maximum 30 seconds. I mean, come on. And like, personally, I mean, I don't shower every day. There's just not enough time in the day. But I mean, I make sure I shower, and if I smell, I obviously shower. I'm not an idiot. But it's like, so there is that. And then just that, I would just, do the investment of a few dollars. And then if something changes, then A, you did it. If not, then that's where you go in the points like, is it worth it? I mean, honestly, like, no offense, especially at the current time right now, or like, even if she doesn't have deodorant, buy some, but especially at this current time right now, if they don't have good personal hygiene, I'm curious what they're doing for the, no virus. That's what I'm gonna call it. Just, because, like, then they're kind of, like, hurting people's, like, safety, especially if they're not doing, the best that they could do with that. So, I mean, it just depends on circumstances. Let's read the top comment. If it can't be fixed in 20 seconds, don't say it, is what they're quoting. She's using it out of context. That's a meme about appearances. Like, you're going into a meeting with your boss. If you spot an open zipper, 20 seconds, mention it. But if you spot a stain on their dress, more than 20 seconds to fix. Don't, because it destroys their confidence uselessly. To mention that she's sticky once, it's useless. But if she's always stinky around you, you have to mention it. If she gets upset because her personal hygiene is making other people uncomfortable, she's an idiot. Everyone will notice, it'll affect her work. I've turned someone down for a job because of body odor. I don't care how clever you are. I don't want to share an office with you. I know I've known at least one woman fired because of body odor. And that is honestly a good response for this. It's just icing on the cake. And I really hope this guy figures out something, and I wish you the best. Also, keep in mind, Valentine's Day is coming up, so you can just buy her, like, a gift of, like, I don't know, a perfume set or something like that, just to also help with that. I mean, I wouldn't give the Kleenex as a gift. That would just be kind of something to add to the house. But, I mean, if you want to do that, or if you wanted to get her a deodorant set or something like that, because, I mean, perfume isn't really going to help with BO. But, I mean, something like that even would help. I mean, just do your best, and I hope you can figure it out. So for the next story, we have, I found my boyfriend's engagement ring, ... So, this one seems really good. Also, the next one I found also sounds really good, so I'm hoping these two are, like, very good. So, my boyfriend asked me to grab his Kindle from his work bag the other day, and I opened up his zipper and came across what looked like an engagement ring. He has casually brought up marriage and weddings the past couple of months, saying, like, if we get married, can we have so-and-so play out the wedding? But I took those comments as jokes and not necessarily thinking he was thinking of proposing. I only know this engagement ring because it looked exactly like the one I described one time. Wait, what? I only know this engagement ring because it looked exactly like what I described one time. I once mentioned how I didn't want a diamond ring because they are too expensive for my liking. And this ring was a red jewel, red my favorite color, with a black dragon band. I'm obsessed with dragons. My issue is I'm not sure if I'm ready for marriage. We currently live with my parents because we lost our jobs when COVID hit. Oh, I'm sorry, no virus. And can't afford rent. I absolutely love this man, but I have so many worries. I don't know if I'm just overthinking, especially because he hasn't proposed yet, so it's no guarantee he will. But for some reason, whenever I think about marriage, I just get really anxious. My parents did not have a good marriage, and we're constantly fighting. So I think I am letting my worries of a failed marriage prevent me from being happy about this. Never been in this predicament. It'd be weird if I had. But there's no possibility of when he bought the ring. It literally could have been there from before the notovirus, because he just bought it and then he's been waiting for the right time. And especially now, since you guys are living at your parents' house, he's just been kind of waiting, but like I still had it. So that could be a possibility. Another possibility is, I mean, you don't have to have, I know her issue is that she's not sure if she's ready for marriage. That's something you just gotta talk about, especially with that, your partner, like, what your plan would be, like, maybe, like, a 5-year plan of what you guys want to have done. I mean, that could be a house. I'm doubting it'll be a house since you guys just lost your job and you guys don't have a place renting right now. But I mean, just have somewhat of a plan of, okay, the plan is most likely not gonna happen verbatim what you guys said it as, but it's some sort of idea to make you feel more comfortable with the idea of just going forward. And then also, being engaged doesn't mean you have to get married anytime soon. I know people who have been in a relationship for, oh gosh, maybe past 10, 15 years, and they aren't still married, but they have a perfectly good and healthy relationship, because that's just something they didn't really see in their future. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, if you want the ring, say yes, and you don't have to get married right then. And even if something happens in, the future, and you guys decide, hey, I don't want to marry this guy, then you always still have that option of giving him back the ring and saying, I don't want to get married to you. So, keep in mind, proposal and saying yes isn't exactly I'm 100% getting married to you. It's more of just the next step of, I am not really promising myself to you. That's more of a promise ring, but more of like a dedication to each other for the time that you're wearing the ring. You're gonna be faithful type thing, especially in more or less today's society. And also with the parents' marriage thing, a lot of kids especially have divorced parents, especially at a more childish / younger age, maybe like less than 10, maybe less than 15. Somewhat have this, maybe from like, if the divorce happened from like 5 to like maybe 12 years old or something like that, especially if the marriage wasn't good and like before that, a lot of them have issues with, people I know who have dealt with that feel as if that is what is like, do I really want to get married? Do I not? But I mean, you'll know when you know. So, and also if you are having doubts about it, you didn't have to really mention that you even saw the ring. You just gotta be like, hey, I want to have the marriage talk, basically. Instead of like the birds and the bees talk, you want to have the marriage talk. But that is my 2 cents. And for the next story, we got, 18-year-old female, just found out my little sister, 14-year-old female, is pregnant. So, first off, just from that sentence alone, it's like, no offense, at 14 years old, I wasn't thinking about that stuff. I mean, I'm not now even, but at 14 years old, I was worried about, like, video games and having fun with friends. So I'm just curious, like how this girl was, like, not raised, but, like, how she is as, like, I don't want to say as a person, that sounds wrong, but like as like her character. That sounds a little better. A few hours ago, my little sister told me and our other sister that she was pregnant. We sat in silence for a while because no one really knew what to say. No one really knew what to say. But when we did talk about it, I was a little disappointed in her because I was a little disappointed in her. I feel like I failed as a big sister. What's the most messed up thing about the situation? She doesn't know who the father is, as there is 2 possible fathers. Oh, gosh. Come on. But what I really need advice on, she's not planning on telling her parents. I don't know how it's going to work, but she isn't telling them. I know that's not a smart decision. I know she'll hate me, but should I tell our parents about this? Or should I mind my business and see how this all pays out? Honestly, girlfriend, I would just take some popcorn to every, like, family event and just start eating. I'm curious how she's not gonna tell her parents. Like, is she planning on getting I almost said divorce. An abortion? Or is she just planning on keeping it and then her parents eventually finding out and just hoping not to have the conversation? Or, like, what? Because there's only so many possible ways this could end out. So, and also the 2 father situation. I mean, you girl, but you gotta at least know something. I mean, at least she knows it's one of 2. So, technically, if she really wanted to know, she could have a DNA test done. Especially, it depends how she wanted to do it, but she can do it before or after. But that would just be interesting. I'm glad I'm not in that situation. In my opinion, I would just mind your own business. Maybe not really push to where she would be mad at you, but maybe more like if she's like, I don't know what to do, and then be like, you should tell mom or dad. I would more be inclined to tell mom, because a lot of dads are like, my special little angel. But I think mom would be more like, not really understanding, but more like forgiving. Forgiving sounds like a wrong word also. But you guys understand what I mean. So, yeah. I'm glad I'm not in this situation. Here's the best comment is, your sister needs medical care ASAP. You need to get her to a real doctor who will inform her about her choices. You shouldn't spend any more time moralizing us. Yeah, that is true. She's 14. Oh gosh, I didn't even think about that. So yeah, she should definitely go and see a doctor. Even if it's just like a primary care doctor or an OBGYN, because I know a lot of them, they don't have to, I know in a lot of states especially the more populous states, they have laws that make it to where your parents don't have to know about that type of stuff. So if she was really in depth of wanting to keep it a secret, but it depends honestly what she was wanting to do with it. And then someone comments, as someone who actually did get pregnant at 14, yes, medical care is a must despite how she chooses to go about this. Agreed. My daughter was born 2 months after my 15th birthday, and I have so many problems from it because my body was not ready for it, and I did not have medical help the first half. At least I didn't actually know I was. Please get her to a doctor. That is a very fair choice. And yeah, especially for her age, so just since she's so young, I think if she was more like maybe 16-ish, she would be more at least able to just kind of do it like a normal pregnancy more or less. But at the same time, it's like, get her to a doctor. But that's my 2 cents. So for this next one, we got a very interesting one, and in some states, kind of illegal. Probably not, because you understand in a second. And the person who's writing this is 22-year-old female, brother, 25 years old, wants to move in with his new girlfriend, 17 years old. Help. And this is also a throwaway, and names have been changed. So, this is a weird situation for me, 22-year-old female. My brother Simon has been with his girlfriend, Lucy, for 6 months now. Her being a minor is a big issue for me, and it makes me uncomfortable to think my brother might be grooming her. My younger brother, Alex, 19, and our mom also know about this, and they are equally uncomfortable, though Alex prefers to ignore things to keep the peace. Alex is also the one who Simon confided in first, and who knows more about the whole situation than the rest of us. A few hours ago, Simon told us he wants Lucy to move in with him, but because she'll be starting to work nearby soon. Our mom freaked out. We were hoping to be able to persuade him to change his mind, as moving together after only 6 months can be difficult enough without the age thing. But knowing him, I highly doubt we'll succeed. I'm considering going NC with him. I don't know what that means, as it makes me super uncomfortable that maybe like no connection. I'm gonna guess with that. Lucy's younger than me and my younger brother, and I also don't like Lucy. I was in Discord call with her once, and she was making super inappropriate jokes and comments, stuff. Blah, blah, blah. I'm not gonna talk about that, but super inappropriate stuff. But my mom thinks I'm overacting. He's your brother after all. And Simon assured us her parents are okay with all of it. I'm honestly lost. I don't know how to deal with the situation, and I'm scared of reacting too emotionally. Any advice would be super appreciated. ETA, having a relationship with a minor 48 is legal here as long as their parents get the okay, so I can call the cops on them. TLDR, my 25-year-old brother wants to move in with his girlfriend, 17, of 6 months. Is going NC too much? So this is one of the top rated comments, and so I want to read that first because I don't even know how to react to this so far. I'm 26, and I can't imagine a reality where I'd be attracted to a 17-year-old or even want to spend an extended amount of time with them, really. The positive thing is to look in a relationship, things like common interests, shared life experiences, and goals for the short and long term can't possibly exist in their dynamic, so it only stands to reason that your brother is actually attracted to the fact that she lacks these things. And that's gross. Don't stay out of it. Don't allow your brother to be a predator because he's family after all. Is there any way you could reach Lucy's parents? I can't imagine they're truly on board with this. They either don't know something or they're not protecting her in the way they ought to be. Okay. Oh, they commented. I know they share some interests, but he said himself that sometimes she's acting more childish. I don't have any contact with her or know her family. They don't live near us. I'm a bit skeptical of the parents are okay with it myself. I mean, I'd be weirded out having to ask my partner's parents' permission for some things. Should be signed for him, shouldn't it? Okay. So, I'm gonna put my 2 cents. So, basically, I mean, that's a very hard situation, especially for you as a sibling to be in. I mean, I would maybe, because having a conversation, it sounds like isn't going to work. I would maybe have the mom, and I would try to have the mom have a conversation with the son, because it's more like a mother-son type thing to be talking about. But, I mean, I hope it can all be resolved peacefully. And if you can't change his mind, as long as he's doing nothing illegal and neither is she, there's literally nothing you can do. And then just wait for something to happen. Or it ends up good. And then they have a good relationship. And then, guess what? Your brother's happy. So, you should be happy. But, yeah. On to the next one. TLDR, and then they are a 25-year-old female partner, male 28, has been gaining some weight, his clothes don't fit. So just by reading that title, it seems like a little bit of like a superficial thing, but I'm hoping it's not, because I always try to look more on the like better side of people, but you never know. My blah blah blah, blah has been gaining some weight since we began dating. This honestly hasn't been a big deal. He has had a very successful year, and so has everyone. I think he might be a little depressed and using food to help with his emotions. I have started to notice that his clothes aren't really fitting him, and I do want him to be comfortable, less confident in himself. Selfishly, I do want to buy new clothes too, but okay. I'm still gonna read the rest of that. We had two friends over the other day, and it did embarrass me that we could all see. I should have read the rest of that sentence. Okay, I'm just gonna skip that paragraph. I am hesitant to buy him new clothes as a gift because we have never talked about his weight gain or his body in that way. We've been dating for a year and 8 months, and it has never came up. I do love and support him, but I would like this issue to be addressed. I do not want to confront him or make him feel bad about this. I'm not really sure how to start the conversation. Okay. So, let's start out with my opinion. Just get him some, new clothes or something like that. And you don't have to say exactly why. You don't have to say, you're gaining weight, so I got you some new clothes. Just saying maybe, I thought these would look cute on you, or something like that. Just, not really, a flirtatious, but you can just say something, kind of like that. Or you can actually have the conversation if you think both of you are ready for it, obviously. And have the full-on conversation of, hey, I noticed you're gaining weight, and maybe get him some new clothes, and then maybe, I don't know, depending on what your budget is, you can also maybe get maybe 2 treadmills or 2 bikes or something like that, and then start going on bike rides together or something like that. Even if you want to do something like that, I don't know what your budget is, obviously, when you're saying you're wanting to get him some new clothes. But I mean, honestly, if you can get a bike for maybe, let's say, maximum maybe $400, and you're planning on, and then, do something like that, something where you can also, spend time together also. Or let's say you have bikes, get them out, and then maybe, suggest going on bike rides, suggest going on hikes or something like that. Maybe he's not a big outdoors person, but, just slow steps. I mean, maybe not hikes if he's not a big outdoor person, but, something kind of like that would be a little bit more, better than just having a conversation of, hey, you're gaining weight, what are you planning on doing about it? Just maybe more push him and be like, hey, let's go do this, let's have fun. And then if he starts asking questions about, why are you doing this, then maybe maybe say, hey, I notice, you're gaining, maybe not gaining a little weight, maybe that, what would be the word, maybe, you're not as active as you used to be, and I miss you like that, or maybe something like that. Maybe just kind of something like that instead of just buying him new clothes. I mean, you can also buy him some new clothes. Maybe get him maybe a little athletic outfit or something like that he could wear while he's running or walking or riding a bike or whatever. Just something a little bit more like that. I don't know exactly what I understand you do the situation with the pants, but I don't know exactly how much weight he's gained. Maybe it's 20 pounds, and then he was originally 150, now he's 170, 180. So where it's a little bit more, but not a lot. So then you can do something like that. But if he's gained, significant weight, then maybe go a little bit slower. Maybe don't buy, especially if you do the shopping, maybe don't buy that ice cream again you keep on buying, or, things like that. So I do want to see what this other commenter does. Well, I think there is no other way to tackle the issue but facing the issue forward and confronting him. You honestly are doing him a favor and leading him down a healthier path, and he'll be much healthier and feel better in the long run if he accepts his weight gain and what you'll say, OP. Running away from the issue is not talking about that, is a negative thing, but obviously. Okay. I can see where they're coming from, but I think there's other ways to address it. I'm thinking he maybe gained on the ballpark of 20 pounds, I'm gonna guess. So then, over the past year, which is a significant amount of weight to gain, but it wouldn't be hard to lose it, especially since I'm assuming you guys either both aren't working or you guys are both working from home, and just kind of do something like that. Just get him off the couch and away from the food a little bit more. And then, I mean, even if he's working out and still eating the same amount of food, he's at least having a net calorie loss than a significant gain. So do something kind of like that, and that's the best advice I can give you. I'm being honest here, because, I mean, from start of, like, October, November, I've been doing my own personal, like, fitness journey, and, I mean, I haven't really lost a whole bunch of weight exactly, but I am more reforming my body in comparison of what it was. So, like, for instance, yesterday, as I was reading the lovely Scarlet Letter, I walked, what was it? I think it was, like, a little bit under 2.5 miles, on my elliptical, just while I was just reading it. And, you know, there's just stuff like that where you can always just keep on going. And I think, not really exactly 100% seeing results. I make sure he's not measuring himself every day or anything like that. But just kind of, like, seeing, like, the numbers of, like, hey, I was able to do this. I'm proud of myself. That just feels great, especially for someone who isn't that big in exercise, or at least originally I wasn't. But, I mean, especially to get, like, a lot of my frustrations out, I do notice I am going out and running in comparison of just being, like, anger, pout, type things. But yeah, on to the next advice. So for the next lovely story, we got, my fiance wants me to get married before I go to college for 4 months. I'm against it. She asked for some time apart. My fiance, 23-year-old female, and I, 22-year-old male, have been together in a long-distance relationship for 4 years. We met twice during that time. It hasn't been easy, but we've made it work. Through that, we've finally convinced our parents to let's get married, more for the sake of getting her out, but also start our life together. That was last year. Since then, everything happened with the world, and I couldn't travel to her country for any wedding, nor her to mine. Once things opened up a bit more, I got a new job in a field that I'm getting... Once things opened up a bit more, I got a new job in a field that I'm getting food at for the most part, which I plan taking my official course this summer, which will set me with a good starting wage. If the company who offered the position stays true to their word, I am getting a position that normally takes 3 to 5 years to earn. However, going to school completely drains my disposable funds. But at the same time, once I'm in and learn properly, I can earn nearly twice the starting wage, nearly 6 months from being hired. Sadly, this would mean my fiancé and I wouldn't be wed until 2022. I expressed the importance of me going to school and everything, but she's against it. Stressed that the marriage should be the main thing, and once that's done, things will be easier. I disagree. I have a shortened program which will be credited in the field I'm in, and a job with full benefits and great pay waiting for me. This is a great start to my life. I want to share that with her. She said, I don't care what you are doing. Then she went on a big mental well-being, then said she wouldn't talk for a while. I don't know what to do anymore. What are some ways I could work with her on this? Try to compromise anything. I actually do want to read the top comment on here, which is, my advice is going to be very Western-centered. If it doesn't apply to your culture, feel free to ignore me. Don't marry a person you haven't lived with for at least 3 months under the same roof. You may know her as a person, but you haven't seen her habits yet, her daily routine, etc. Simple habits that you haven't even normally can turn into major problems when moving in together. Also important, did you clear all the major relationship questions? What do you think about kids, finances, family, boundaries with friends and colleagues, having pets, retiring, education, other ambitions? Make sure you see eye to eye on this stuff, otherwise you'll be in a great deal of pain. Loving someone from a distance is difficult in unique ways, but is different to actually spend your life together. Please don't rush on things if that is an option for you two, and take your time to get comfortable with each other. Good luck. I actually 100% agree with this person, even though this is actually wasn't what I was thinking of. I think personally, if she isn't able to agree with you on that, and you guys, let's say hypothetically they were to get married, and then he's basically screwed, and he doesn't get that job. And then, let's say they can't, just compatibly live together. Then he is literally screwed 150%. He loses his wife. He loses all the money he paid for the wedding. He has to move out, and then probably will lose his deposit because it'll probably happen before a year happens. And then he also loses that job, and he loses that money that he would be getting from that job. Honestly, I would, if she can't truly see how much that would be beneficial in your guys' life, especially since it's just for 4 months, and then it's just a year, I mean. You guys would have, how old are you again? 22. So you have a good, estimated, maybe a good another 60 years together. I think a year would be fine. I mean, even if while you're going to school, you guys wanted to live together in that time, I think that would be a good step to maybe try to do and be like, hey, it's literally just not reasonable for me to not do this opportunity. If you want to, for the next step, we can live together for a decent bit of time. And I think that would be something to at least, put the hand in her direction. But if she won't do that, it's just not worth it. I'll be honest with you. I mean, you will be heartbroken for, a bit, but at that point, it's like, okay, should I, if something bad were to happen and I were to marry her this year, then, but also, I'll be honest, I'm not expecting, it sounds like to me they're European. Due to just it sounds like they're near a lot of different countries, and so I'm assuming they're European when I'm saying this. But I know right now, or at least as of a bit ago, they were in full lockdown. So I'm assuming when I'm saying this, they're still in that lockdown. And so if you guys are in a lockdown, and I'll be honest, they probably won't get all the vaccines done by, let's say they want to get this done in June, then it's just, at that point, especially with all the backup weddings, you're going to pay even a higher premium to get it done. It's just kind of not worth it to get married, especially this year. So next year is a good one, always. And, yeah, that's my 2 cents. Yeah. This comment says, don't marry her, big yikes. Yeah, I could see that. And, I mean, I know in a lot of cultures, it's the man that pays, it's the female that plans. So I'm assuming it's all gonna come out of his pocket. So, I mean, if you just can't pay for it, just tell her, I don't have the money. If you want to have a good wedding, let me get this job, work for, the X, let's say you're done by, let's say you start in, it says summer, right? I think it said summer. So let's say it goes from May, then August. Let's say it ends in August. So then from August all the way to, let's say, March, you guys could be working on building that funds and have the best wedding ever. I don't know. Glad it's your situation and not mine. So I got another story here that kind of goes with the Wall Street Bets debacle with the, what's the story? GameStop, that's what it was. But not exactly really. It has to do with money. How to determine what's mine, 35-year-old male, for sake of estate planning. When I got married, I had about $200,000 split between cash savings and an investment account. My wife had no assets and had a daughter from a previous marriage. My wife and I now have a son together. We live in California and we're married there. CA, which is California, is a community property state. how to determine what belongs to me and what belongs to my wife for the sake of estate planning. I don't intend to leave any of my assets to my stepdaughter, her father being alive as well, and they have an ongoing relationship. My greatest concern is that someday if I die before my wife, my son will lose out on a portion of his inheritance that my wife will somehow channel out to her daughter. If I didn't have a stepdaughter, I wouldn't have started thinking about this, but I've heard some concerning comments. I think my wife feels that assets that are mine should simply be part of our family's assets, and everything will eventually be split between my son and stepdaughter. There were enough times that she has shown what's yours is ours and what's mine is mine attitude. If I find myself here asking the question, I'd like to at least start talking about estate planning with her so that I have a chance to establish my position. So, oh, I love this one. The first comment is, the real problem is that you're married to a woman you think would steal from your son. That is honestly 100% the main truth right there. Sign it, love it. But, so what was it? 200, let me find it again. Okay, $200,000 between cash savings and investment account. So I would say before, it's harder to think because it's that. So I would say just that $200,000 you have immediately divides it between the children. And then anything you earn together, if you were to die first, is given to her and then divided up between the children, which just to me kind of makes sense at least. I mean, or if you even wanted to, you just give all $200,000 to your son, which you can absolutely 100% do. Or you could do like a 25-25-50 between each of the kids and your wife, and then just make it, if you're really nervous about her touching your son's money, then have like an uncle or like granddad or something like that on the name instead of her, so then she can't touch it. You can 100% do something like that for his estate, or like for his money. And then also, it depends how you want to do it. Or if you wanted to do a 50-50 split between your son and your wife, you can 100% do that. Or you could even do a 40-30-20. That's not 100. Maybe like a 45-35-20, or just any sort of way you wanted to go about it. Divided up between each person. Like if you wanted to do 20 for the stepdaughter, just, nice. Because you are, I'm assuming she does live with you, you are kind of raising her. And then let's say 35, maybe even 40 for your son, and then 40 for your wife of that 200,000. But then from there, honestly, if something were to happen to you, then you can also even do from the joint funds of all the of what you guys have earned together, you do something like what would it be? Like maybe do like a 60-20-20 between each children, and then from there divide out, because so the son is her child, okay, so I would maybe do, with that $200,000, it would be divided up maybe 40-40-20, with the son being the 40 and the wife also being the 40, and then from there you do a like 60-20-20 on the rest of the money if for some reason you guys are both to die at the same time, or if she were, or like something like that. So then it's divided up equally between the kids and the mother. And then, like I said, if you don't feel comfortable with your wife on that, first of all, why are you married to her? Second, it's like, why would you marry her if you don't trust her with your assets? Or this just teaches you to sign a prenup, especially if with that difference, because it doesn't even say between cash savings and investment account. So that's not even a house, which I'm assuming they didn't own because they didn't have it. at the time. But it's like, if it's like that, yeah, that's just weird. At that point, I probably would have, especially if you didn't feel comfortable with them controlling, or like possibly having a control of your money since you guys are married, why didn't you sign a prenup? They exist for a reason, kid. It's so weird. But that our minds should simply be a part of our family's assets, and everything will eventually be split evenly between my son and stepdaughter. I would say if you really want that to be divided without your stepdaughter in there, because she's not technically yours, then I would do maybe like a 40-40-20, or just cut her out entirely and do 50-50 between the son and the wife. Either way, keep the wife in there, because like that'd be kind of like rude, because you didn't marry her. And also it'd guarantee the son has something. But I mean, I'm just curious if like the wife shows more like love towards like the daughter than the son, because if so, that's kind of messed up. That's like really messed up. That's glad I'm not in your predicament. So for the next story, we got a lovely r/relationship advice titled, that's what it's called, my 17-year-old female brother, 14-year-old male, is lying about almost everything and is putting his grades/future in jeopardy. I was in my bedroom earlier last week when I heard my mother screaming at my brother. I knew it had to be about grades. Our school district had started emailing parents about their children's grades. My mother came into my bedroom and told me he had a D in his honors algebra class. I was confused, but when I was told why, I felt immense disappointment. Ever since he was about 8, he had a habit of lying, not hiding. On my account, I have made a post talking about how he lied and got his TV broken and Christmas presents ruined. I would like to read that story if I can find it. But he also lied about his grades. Apparently, he never did any of his homework in the class. He already told me a few times it was hard for him. But other times he calls his classmates stupid for not getting what they were taught, so I'm really confused. So now he has to work even harder in his class as he got a D for his last report card. And he applied to a Polytechnic high school for computer engineering with his grades, knowing they were bad and never told us. I've also hidden bad grades, but he's being rather lazy. He does this every school year. He almost failed 7th grade because he lied about doing any work, and we only found out the last day of school he never did anything besides tests. He also lied about sneaking on his tablet to text his friends and made it seem as if it was a joke. No, it's not my opinion, as he has been on and off punishments for 4 months. I don't understand why he keeps lying and making it worse for him at home. My mother just yelled until he started to cry, and now he's back on punishment for grades and sneaking on his device. He cleans almost every room, from sweeping to mopping the floorboards, but even then he is lying about cleaning some, as I find dirt and trash all over one bathroom. How do I get through to him about lying? He's almost 15. He isn't a little kid lying helplessly anymore. It's a pattern, and our mom says his dad is the same, which worries me, as his dad's very mentally ill and wants to take him for a visit in another country. I know our mom wouldn't let him go because his dad has gone on some insane things due to being a unmedicated bipolar schizophrenic, but she has mentioned sending him to military school, so why not his dad's? I really need help on how to help him, or at least get him realize she is serious about her threats as he gets older. Okay, so let's go into my little spiel, and then we'll go over the best comment. So, in my opinion, I do agree that military school might help him, but I wish it wasn't the type of year, because if it would have been any other thing, I would have said get him into like a sport or something like that. And a lot of those sports, if he especially falls in love with it, he would be required to keep a certain grade, and then he would have to maintain at least a decent grade to play the sport. And then from there, I don't understand why you mentioned the dad. The dad is just kind of a weird thing to mention, because, no offense, it sounds like the dad's trying to kidnap the child, and that's not a good thing to really deal with, especially when he's a unmedicated bipolar schizophrenic? Yeah, an unmedicated bipolar schizophrenic. So, you come to the option where it's like, which is truly better for him? I mean, I would talk to him and maybe you and the mom plan, like, hey, let's get the papers and have him see it on the thing, like on the counter or like on the table or something like that. Just like on top of like a stack paper or something like that. Not where it's like visibly like, hey, look at this. Like just kind of like when he's walking like through the kitchen or whatever, he like looks over and like sees it and is like, oh wait, that's for me. Like that type of thing. And then maybe he might straighten himself out. Or just maybe have him start seeing like a therapist or something like that. That's 100% something you could do. And then see if there's actually something mentally wrong with him, especially with the father being an unmedicated bipolar schizophrenic. And I think it's bipolar runs in genetic line, so that's something you should definitely look and make sure that he's not. And then especially if he is a younger age, you can also, force him to take the medication instead of like the dad. So that's definitely a hard situation, but I would definitely recommend, at least to your mom, be like, hey, go see if, this would help him. But yeah, so I'm curious what the first comment is. It's not your place to help him. You can offer that he come to you and you help him with his homework. You can just tell him that lying about anything won't get him anywhere at all. Realizing that and accepting help will change his attitude are things he has to do on his own. If you help people who do not want to be helped, then you yourself will feel down and frustrated. The worst thing is you don't help, but you keep them from reaching out and changing their attitude. Some people learn without pain. Those are the ones actively looking for resources. Others learn through pain. That's an interesting one. Okay, so I want to read the next one. Okay, hold up. Yeah, I want to read the next one also. So my brother was the same thing growing up. Could absorb info very easily and could get straight A's as if he did the work but never did. Constantly lied about everything all the time from the time we were very small. My parents enabled him, were never that harsh to him. Blah, blah, blah. About 6 years ago, he was diagnosed with schizophrenia in his mid-30s. I am dealing with his diagnosis. There is a lot of pain and trauma I associate with him, and I feel like he uses it as an excuse for his behavior. In a way, he's right, but he's also unapologetic. Anyway, I never associated with the behavior with schizophrenia until this post. Might be related. Either way, he should be talking to a professional. Is he in therapy? And then the writer writes, he's on therapy. The only type he has ever gone is speech therapy. And I have no idea. His dad told my mother the signs were apparently for both disorders, and she says he has known. So I could, just try therapy, see how that helps, and hopefully there is some sort of improvement, and then take it from there. And then also, like I said, offer him help with, or like the other comment said, offer him help with his homework, check on him occasionally and make sure he's not on his tablet and stuff like that, and being like, psh, mom might see it. And then also you could have mom maybe like find some like papers that maybe, they don't have to be the actual like military school's papers. Just print something that kind of looks like it, and then just kind of have like laying on the table, and like maybe even have, and then like every day maybe have like a little bit more filled out, so then he's like, it's like, oh wait, she's serious. And then see where it goes from there, and I hope that's a little bit of some advice. So for the very last story of this lovely podcast, we got, how do I tell my boyfriend I don't want him to make super elaborate Valentine's Day plans? My boyfriend, 24-year-old male, and I, 23-year-old female, have known each other for about a year now, but I've only been dating for a month. He keeps on hinting at all these things he's planned, like talking about different deliveries, etc. It honestly makes me super uncomfortable. I know he has obviously had the best intentions and is trying to make me happy, but I honestly feel really awkward about everything if we're just go to dinner or have nothing else extravagant considering we've been dating all of 4 weeks. Any advice on how to tell him I would prefer things to be toned down? I feel like he is always trying to do the best things for me, and I've told him before that it's a bit much, and I don't want the repetitiveness of me shooting down his ideas to hurt his feelings. Okay, so I do want to read the next one, the next comment. The first comment, that's what it's called. You should communicate with him. For Valentine's Day, you should have communicated expectations a month ago. My wife and I, ever since our first date, set expectations and budgets for every single holiday. I get her flowers for no reason from time to time, but for holidays, we tell each other what we are going to do include cards or no cards, present or no present, budget, who we're celebrating with, kids or no kids, etc. That way, no one feels like garbage for going less or more than the other. That is very fair. I think that just basically summarizes it perfectly. So I was kind of in a similar situation, with this. This would have been over a year ago. And so basically, me and, the guy who I was dating's brother shared a birthday. And so basically for this birthday, this is actually the day he asked me out, and then I was like, no, you're choosing a different date. But anyway, so basically it was about maybe like the weekend after that, I think, or weekend before that, I was invited to like a birthday party type thing, and I didn't know if I was supposed to get him something, because technically it was like his brother and his birthday party, but his birthday was already back in September. This was end of October, beginning of November. And so I was like, okay, do I get him something? So I ended up getting him a book that he liked, which I already owned, so it was free for me. But he didn't know that I owned it. I had never really opened it or used it in the first place. So I was in that really awkward situation. So I wanted to make sure I gave it to him in his car, so at least he knew. And then, from there, so at least he knew. It's like, hey, happy birthday, even though your birthday was a month, like, not really a month before we started dating, a week before we started talking, basically. And so it was a really awkward situation to be in. But I mean, it was a sweet time. I miss his little brothers. They were pretty great. But yeah, that's definitely a situation I've been in. So, before I do end this, I do want to talk about a little bit more about this show real quick before I do end it off with a little bang. So basically, this show will be coming out about once a month. I can't guarantee anything. When I do order from Lego.com, a lot of times I do get free gifts for ordering X amount of dollars. And I do try to get these bigger sets that were big, like this one that we're currently viewing was $89.99 plus tax, which I'm not really counting. Or USD. Keep in mind, I am a US citizen, so USD. And then from there, I do get free, which is where the zero or trial episode that I like to call came from, which is, it was all free gifts, which was the Charles Dickens and the VIP thing from Black Friday. And so from there, so I'm curious what you guys want. So I do plan on doing 12 of these big episodes within the year, hopefully. But in between times, especially if I'm busy, would you guys rather have a thing where it's like one? Like, would you rather me do a bigger episode where it's, like, 2 or more of the free things, and I build them, and then I show them off, like I did in the first episode? Or would it be okay for me to do smaller episodes, and so you guys at least have one once a month? And the reason I'm saying this is because, especially from now till spring break, or at least from now till summertime, it's very hard for me to edit these mainly. It's mainly the editing. Like filming, it took me basically a weekend, which really isn't that bad, to completely build it and everything. And then from there, it took me, I had this filmed since late December. And it took me this long, and I edited a good maybe 20 minutes a day on average. And it literally, I'm recording this on the 8th of February, and I have to edit it all before I can record over it, so I know approximately how long I have to go. And so it's like, which would you rather me do? Can I put in some short episodes to go in between? Or can I go, or would you rather have bigger episodes, but they just be more sporadic? Keep in mind, I do plan on doing 12 of these. It's just the option of, okay, do I just do some smaller ones in between all the bigger ones? When I say 12, I mean 12 of the bigger sets. Like, 12 of the sets that are over 750. Like, the next one is Steamboat Willie, which, honestly, I really like that set. It was honestly a really cute set to build. And I personally really love that set. And I haven't had a chance to edit it at all yet, because I've been working on this. And so, I'm not going to lie to you, it's not going to be done by that last Wednesday in February, unless I get some superpowers. So it's like, as long as you get one a month, is it okay if, like, one a month that is just any, and then within the year I get 12 of the big ones out? Or would you rather have 12 quote-unquote big ones and just have it sporadically put? So let me know in the comments what you guys think. And I hope you did enjoy this podcast. This is a fun show for me to make. I really love it. Except for the editing process. That's the worst part. Keep in mind, the footage you guys are watching right now was 4 hours of footage before I was able to take it and condense it all down. And that is a lot of footage. But yeah, so I hope you guys did enjoy. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, etc. And I shall see you guys next time. Bye, guys.